All right. On to the next point. Integrity does what they say they will do. Skoo.
Well, if anyone's talked to Randy, he's answers every question correctly with thought. Pretty much he's done what he was asked to do as an alderman, and I'm sure he'll continue that as mayor. Paul Hammond, I'm not going to even, yeah, whatever. But Prue, I mean, yeah, she waffles on everything. I mean, it's, if not one thing they're complaining about, then they flip the side and go after another. So I don't know. Again, Randy was selected the proper way by a committee that runs our Lake Forest government. I mean, they chose him over a person that was not selected for the third time. And people don't even talk about that. It's the third time. There are issues each time. She threw up red flags if she didn't get selected, and she did it again. The right person was selected, and that's who you should vote for. Or vote for whoever you want, really. But you support the process that has been running Lake Forest for 88 years. You can't go wrong with Randy. Or we can't go wrong with Randy, period.
I'm certainly in agreement that integrity is important in this job. It's unfortunate some of the commentary that I've seen, particularly on Patch, really attacking the integrity of not only Randy Tack without any basis at all, but also the integrity of the current mayor and other aldermen has been very unfortunate. This has been a very divisive election. Politics ain't beanbag, and people are entitled to have some sharp elbows, even in a local election. Although you should bear in mind, these are all local people. We do run into them in real places, and you do want to be civil in what you're doing. Certainly, some of Prue's spokespeople, Phil and Moorhead in particular, I thought was way over the line in terms of attacks on integrity. Randy Tack has been a physician, a surgeon, a business person, a public servant for all these many years. The guy, he certainly clearly has integrity.
Joe?
Yeah, I think, the Moorhead attack on Randy was way out of line. I mean, the guy was late for a meeting because he was finishing up a surgical procedure, and they make that into an issue. I mean, come on.
He's bitter he didn't get, the nod for
right.
all of them.
I'm yes. So and then he but yeah, but on the integrity question, I think, again, you have to, this is a thing I've talked about repeatedly, but you have to look at Prue is of a mindset of just trying to buy everything. That's why I call her pay to play Prue. I mean, the $1 million in donations, the money to Kim Fox and Lori Lightfoot and Rahm Emanuel when her daughter-in-law was working for them. And now she's spending, over $100,000 of her family's money in this election. Her and her husband have the contributions have traded off between the two of them and a couple other family members as well. But she's Prue, and she, some of her supporters point to some of the things in town where her name's on a plaque because she's given more money to something. I just have there's some serious ethical questions there of somebody not getting their way in a process 3 times and saying, you know what, this process be damned, even though I've been part of it for years and years. I'm just going to spend $100,000 and I'm going to pull out my Rolodex of people I've given money to over the years, like Susan Garrett, and have them come in, and Lord knows what other favors she's calling in between now and election day she's one of the top donors to the Democratic Party in this state. So, I mean, she can call in a lot of favors for this. And meanwhile, Randy's a guy who didn't really want this job. And hasn't, the only money he's ever given to a candidate has been to the caucus, and a relatively small amount of money. So I think that speaks volumes right there. the ethical, the pay to play culture that she is going to try to inject into this, has injected into this. And, you know, what happens when she becomes mayor with that is still up in the air.
Well, we'll get into the agenda part of that a little bit later, but look, the Jamie Moorhead thing. Hey, everybody, I was gonna like leave this to the side, but anything that I was gonna leave this to the side, but if you can say anything about this show, you can say we are dumb and dumber, we are Muppets, you can, but integrity is always at number one. Okay. The only people that are buying our opinions are the ones that are spending $25 a month, and it's not that much of a buy. But Jamie Moorhead, just so you know, I quit the caucus because of Jamie Moorhead. Why? Because the caucus put Nancy Novid because she was a female ahead of him. And I protested that. And I told, hey, Jamie, why don't you stand up against the caucus? Because I will stand right with you and you got a raw deal. No, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. So all of a sudden, he must have went to a chiropractor and they found a backbone, and now he's doing all this other stuff. Okay.
Maybe an orthopedic surgeon.
That's right. So I'm just saying, these are the type of people. Look, the type of people we are, we look you in the eye. If you don't look us in the eye, then we got problems with you. That's the problem that I have with Prue. That's integrity. She said that if she didn't get the gig, she wouldn't run against the caucus. Not only is she running against the caucus, but she's pushing this thing up to 300 grand to the point where it's going to be a partisan election going forward, and maybe even moving this thing towards Highland Park. So that being said, Randy gets the nod for me on integrity.